Everyone has those movies that make them feel special, whether they're guilty pleasures, whether they're popcorn movies, which you just find to be very underrated movies, whether they're movies that you could watch every day and never get tired of no matter how many times you watch it, or whether they're movies that you will want to take with you to an island that somehow had cable TV. Today I'm going to be giving you my top 10 favorite movies of all time, and this is by far my most anticipated video to give because I absolutely have been wanting to make this video for a very long time. And today I am now giving you guys my top 10 favorite movies with a lot of honorable mentions. So first honorable mention is Speed. This is a 1994 movie, I believe, that stars Keanu Reeves, Dennis Hopper, and Sandra Bullock in this really good this like action movie that's kind of like Die Hard on a truck because they're trapped in an enclosed space and they can't leave. So I just absolutely think that this is such a compelling movie that has so many things working for it, which is one of the reasons why it's in here. Some people, very few people actually would put this in their favorite movies. I am one of those people that actually puts them in their favorite movies. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. And also, if you have seen all the movies that I have seen that are going to be my top 10 favorite movies of all time, please comment down below your ranking of them. And while you're at it, give me your 10 favorite movies of all time and have a friendly chat with some people down below, and I will try and join in. Now, next honorable mention is The Karate Kid. This is one of the best sports movies I've ever seen. It's an amazing drama. Most sports movies are drama, but it's not really about... One of the good things about this movie is basically almost all sports movies, they're not just really about sports. I mean, there's sports in there, but it's mostly about the character and how he grows. That's one of the reasons I absolutely love this movie. We get to see this character and how he interacts with some things, and that's just one of the reasons I absolutely love the movie so much. Next honorable mention is We Bought a Zoo. This is one of my favorite dramas of all time. I really enjoy dramas, you can tell, probably by now. So, this is probably my favorite Matt Damon film. I haven't seen that many, but of the ones I have seen, We Bought a Zoo is definitely my favorite. And Scarlett Johansson is really good in this role. So is Matt Damon. You buy that they could be these characters, and they don't, like, you always are invested in them. And also the kids, the older kid can be a bit bratty at times, but then he gets to go on this amazing character arc. That's one of the reasons the movie's so high. I just really enjoy character arcs from people. And definitely another thing that makes this movie work is just the way that everyone interacts. The story is so amazing, and the fact that it's a true story is so amazing. Next honorable mention is Avengers Infinity War, or the entire MCU in general, except for a few weak links in Phase 4 and Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania is also a weak link in there, but so I won't be including that. But Avengers Infinity War is definitely one of the major ones in this entire franchise. I really love this movie in general because this one is by far the best in the entire franchise. It has the most action of the entire MCU, except for maybe the final act of Endgame. That was packed with action. But Infinity War is definitely my favorite of the movies. So, yeah. And next honorable mention, we got John Wick Chapter 4. This is my favorite of all Keanu Reeves movies because it's just so amazing seeing him and how he can take care of so many people. He's a one-man army. He's killed a small army, basically. He has a death count of hundreds of people. He's one of the characters in all of cinema history who's killed the most people, and I'm not including including superpower beings. I'm just including just regular people. So he kills a lot in all 4 movies, but this one he just goes absolutely nuts, and it's so amazing to see. So next honorable mention, or last honorable mention, is the entire Star Wars original trilogy. This is a trilogy that's basically perfect. I absolutely love this trilogy. It is so great. There are so many things that make it work, and there's hardly anything I find that doesn't make it work. So that's one of the reasons why it is an honorable mention. And now, without further ado, let's dive in with the top 10. Now, like I said again, if you guys have seen all the movies in my top 10, then please comment down below your ranking of all top 10 favorite movies of all of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. What do you think of some of them? Do you hate some of them on here? Do you think they're weird or mixed? And now in 10th place, I've got Top Gun. And I'll include Top Gun Maverick in this. I'll include a few more movies if I want to, but not many movies will be included in this. But Top Gun I prefer Top Gun or Top Gun Maverick. That is possibly my hottest take of all time. And believe me, that is a hot take. Because most people would say that the original is not as good. So this is an amazing war movie that, well, actually it's not really a war movie. It's just like drama and action movie. The second one's a huge action movie, but the first one just has a better story in my opinion. I just find the characters are a lot more likable, and Goose is probably my favorite character in this entire franchise. Most people would say that Maverick is. I'm more of a fan of Goose. Sadly, Maverick is not first place. I'm sorry about it. So in 9th place, we got Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Now, one of my subscribers asked me to do this for them, and I would just like to say thank you very much for giving me this. I will keep your name secret for privacy reasons, just because I probably should, and thank you very much for doing this, because I absolutely love this movie. It's a top 10 movie because, well, it's in here. And I debated whether Top Gun or Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is better. I decided to put Last Crusade. So one of the things that makes this movie so amazing is just the relationship between Sean Connery's Dr. Henry Jones and Indy in the movie. It's just so amazing. The entire trilogy of Indiana Jones movies is amazing. The original trilogy, I wasn't the biggest fan of Temple of Doom. I just found that, what is her name? Well, Indy's love interest in the movie. Oh, Willie. I just found her so annoying. She is the worst character in this entire franchise and was always just annoying and complaining. Luckily, they ditched her for this because since it was a prequel, it would be weird if she was brought back since it was after Raiders. So, it's just an amazing movie. I really enjoyed the direction they went in it, and just the way that Sean Connery and Harrison Ford can bounce off of each other is so amazing. In 8th place, we've got Predator. So Predator is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I haven't seen that many because I'm still getting into it. But I know some people that have been wanting me to get into horror movies. So Predator was my introduction to horror. So it's a very, very, very violent movie. Also, it can be pretty scary for some people. I didn't get too scared. I just found it to be a bit like, yeah, just a bit disturbing at most. So I find the movie really, really, really compelling. Just the way that the characters are designed is so amazing. Spoiler alert, everyone dies except for Arnold and the woman. And when I saw this movie, I thought that Carl Weathers may make it. Then after I saw just the way he was on and how he betrayed them, I was like, oh no, he's not going to live through this. If he betrays someone like that, there's no way he's going to live. And he's right, he's killed in the movie, along with basically everyone else in some very violent ways. The Predator is so cool. He's not in too much in the movie, but whenever he is, he's the scene stealer. You can be very terrified of him. So that's one of the reasons why it comes in on this list. In 7th place, we've got Rocky. So Rocky is the quintessential drama film, the quintessential just boxing film in general, and I'll include Creed on this list too because I found Creed to be an amazing movie as well, but I still prefer Rocky. So one of the reasons that Rocky is on this list is just the fact that Rocky Balboa is one of my favorite movie characters of all time. One of my favorite movie character of all time will be included on this list as well, so stay tuned for him. And you may notice a pattern between them. So I just find that just the way that he's an underdog and the way he goes throughout the entire franchise is amazing. And I just find that the first one was executed to perfection, and it's the most compelling of all the movies on this list. I'm saying compelling a lot. I really need to stop saying that, but it's true. In 6th place, we've got The Dark Knight. Now, one of my subscribers on here has this as his favorite movie, so I have to say this. I am very sorry about this. I really know that you absolutely love The Dark Knight, and I really did not want to have to place it this low on my list. Although it's not very low, it's pretty high. But I just find that there are some movies that I find to be better, whether they're drama films or just straight up cool action films. Now, I enjoy everyone in this movie. Gary Oldman is one of my favorite characters in this entire franchise. Heath Ledger, it gives the portrayal of a lifetime. He still, to this day, has the best portrayal ever put on screen. There's never been a more convincing Joker, and there never will be. Joaquin Phoenix, I hear, comes close. I haven't seen Joker yet, but I doubt that it will come as close as Heath Ledger, because he goes nuts in the movie. He went insane and was killed in the role because of it. That's how amazing he was. And whenever he's on screen, he's a scene stealer. He robs a bank, and manages to kill every single one helping him. And he barely lifted a finger while doing it. He also manages to kill someone with a pencil. Although a lot of people on this list, that's not the only person on this list that has done that. John Wick has killed 5 people with a pencil. 3 were not on screen. 2 we see him do in John Wick Chapter 2. But it's so amazing, and that's one of the reasons why I just absolutely love this movie. In 5th place, we've got Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is the quintessential adventure film. It is by far the greatest in the franchise, in my opinion. I find Last Crusade a really good, close one. I find that there are so many good things between them, but I find Raiders of the Lost Ark is my favorite. It's an original film. That's one of the reasons it's helped so much. It's almost a rule. I must never put a sequel over the original. Right now, of big budget sequels, I only have 3 sequels I can think of that are better than the original. And I am being I'm underreacting to that right now. So, Raiders of the Lost Ark, just everything that you get works for it. As you move up this list, you find that the characters are more likable. And if you don't notice it, through Temple of Doom all the way to Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, or just from Temple of Doom to Last Crusade, you see that Indy has a character arc through the whole movie. In Temple of Doom, which is the first movie, well, not technically, but it's a prequel, so it is technically the first movie, but you see that he's using a kid, and he threatens to kill a woman if he is not given the cure to his poison. So, and then all the way to Last Crusade, you see that he becomes a much better person. So he has a subtle character arc that goes over most people's heads. That's one of the reasons that Raiders of the Lost Ark is so high. I've enjoyed Indiana Jones' character. He's one of my favorites. Han Solo is also a good one. He's my favorite character in Star Wars, probably. In 4th place, we got First Blood. Rambo is my favorite of all movie characters ever put on screen. There's never been a better character, in my opinion. I just think that he's so amazing. I just finished watching the 4th movie, and you can check that out. I will leave the link in the description below if you want to. If you want to watch it, and trust me, this movie is good. This movie is great. This movie is better than great. It's great. It's perfect. And very few things are perfect. Nothing is perfect except for Jesus and God. Yeah. But as close to a movie can get, this is as close to perfect as a movie will get, and I just find every second this movie so good. And it also is it's like this message of, it shows how people were treated in the Vietnam War, and how awful Vietnam people were treated. So, and just the way that Rambo's like, nothing is over, nothing, and the way he just loses it at the end of the first film, I just found like, oh man, I mean, he is broken. Because he just can't stop the killing. He tries to turn it off through all the movies, and every time he somehow has to go back to the killing. He can't stop it, and he has one of the highest kill counts in history. I know that he kills over 200 people in the 4th movie. He kills over 100 people in the 3rd movie. He kills in the 90s he kills around 90 people in the 2nd movie, and he only kills 1 person in the 1st. But he has a huge kill count, and I haven't even seen the 5th film yet, and I hear it's around 40, which means that he has a kill count of over 100 people. So that's one of the reasons that this film is in my 4th favorite. One of the things keeping this movie back from being a top 3 movie is just, I wasn't the biggest fan of like the sewer scene in that because I just found it kind of dragged there. But other than that, the movie's amazing. In third place is Die Hard. This used to be my favorite movie, and I watched two movies. One movie yesterday, and I finished the other movie just before I made this video, and it became my third favorite. I think that everything in this movie is basically perfect. Like, just the way that you have to be listening the entire time, because something that happens in like the first 5 minutes about John McClane rubbing his feet on the carpet to help him, it matters for the rest of the movie and how it plays out. Everything that you see matters. You need to be paying attention to the entire film. Hans Gruber is my personal favorite of all villains. I think that Heath Ledger's Joker is a close runner-up, but I just feel like Hans Gruber is so civilized, yet so evil in some ways. He's just so captivating. He's a scene stealer whenever he's in the movie. And I just find that John McClane, he's John McClane. He's one of the greatest movie characters of all time. I just find that he's so cool. And his amazing line, which I don't say the line because, well, I don't think I would want to say that line because that's a very bad line to say. And we all know it. In second place is The Terminator. And I know I was actually surprised I was able to watch this film. Something came up to where I thought I was not going to be able to watch this film. I then watched it in preparation for this video. I loved it. I absolutely loved every second of it. It just feels so... This is my favorite of all horror movies. It's kind of a horror movie. It's like a slasher, so I count it as a horror movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I thought he was going to be like in almost the entire movie. He's barely in the movie at all, because he's only in like little clips of scenes, but every time he's in the movie, you always are captivated by him. He is a bad guy in this movie. He is a horrible person, and he will kill anyone that gets in his way to get to Sarah Connor. Just the way that the story plays out is so amazing. That's one of the reasons this film plays so high on this list. This is my second favorite rated R movie of all time. My favorite movie of all time is actually a rated R movie. So I just loved every minute of this movie. Also, Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor were also really good characters in this. But the T-800 is my first pick for personal favorite in this entire franchise. But Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese would probably be... Actually, no, I'm going to pick John Connor after the T-800. There are just so many great characters in this entire franchise. I hear the sequels kind of went a little low except for the second, but other than that, this movie's amazing. But coming in first place for me is Terminator 2 Judgment Day. The second film in the Terminator franchise actually finds a way to be better than the original, improve upon the original, and give the original respect at the same time. You could tell that it was trying not to be the first movie, and it manages to do that, plus it manages to become better. So I just find that this movie is so much better than the original. This is a movie that I find myself rewatching possibly like every other week or something. But I'm going to be rewatching this movie a lot. Same thing with with the first. But both of these movies are good. One of the reasons The Terminator wasn't able to become first is because I felt like having John Connor in this movie as a kid was so amazing. Also, there are some effects in the first movie that haven't aged particularly good. Like the scene where the Terminator's stitching himself up and you see his face, it looks like it's computerized with CGI. I could tell that it was computerized because I could tell no one has a face like that. Even if they're stitched up like that. And the way that the T-800 turns good in this movie, like when you see him and he's walking towards John Connor, he has a gun, you're like, oh no, John Connor's about to die. Then he decides to twist everyone on their heads when he says the famous words, "Get down," and then shoots the T-1000. That is such a brilliant twist. I already knew about this because I had heard spoilers about the movie. That's one of the reasons I'm not really surprised when I see a movie. Most times I get the spoilers first. Think very few movies on this list I've actually managed to see and get surprised by. But I absolutely loved every second of this movie. Everything that is executed in this is better than the first. I will say there's two scenes in the movie where you can clearly see Arnold Schwarzenegger's stunt devil having to go on the motorcycle instead of him. You can see it's his stunt devil, so I did have to say There's one flaw in the movie, and it was that. But other than that, and I can look over that every day. But I absolutely love this movie. It's so amazing. So if you guys have seen all the movies that are in my top 10, share them and rank them on your in the comments below, and give me some honorable mentions while you're at it if you want to, or just give me your 10 favorite movies of all time. My list is not probably the best list because there are some things that you guys won't agree on, particularly Top Gun, because most people aren't a big fan of that movie. But I just find all the movies on this list so rewatchable, and I rewatch them all the time. So thank you everyone for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want to, because I am this close to 50 subscribers. My next goal is 65, and I'm this close to reaching 50. So please like and subscribe if you want to, but if you don't want to, that's completely cool, and I will not be angry if you don't, but please do. And thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a good one.